Hello and welcome back to the railway, guys. Today it's a very slightly different video in that we're not on the railway. We're going to be talking about scenery for the first time, and today I'm going to be talking about how to make model trees. Now this isn't the best method, but it is just a method that I've used on my railway, and I feel it's only fair that if any of you would like to do the same, then I should let you have the opportunity to. Now it's nothing rocket science, but it's fairly effective. So the first thing you'll need to do is go outside and get some twigs off the trees. Obviously you have to use the right tool for the job. That's very important. And it's very much up to you what kind of twigs you get. Obviously you don't want any that are green or alive or too covered in leaves, although you can take the leaves off if you'd like. But you can get sort of the more spindly ones like this, or a more bushy one like this. And they give you some different effects. So once you get those inside, I normally tend to get a variety. So you can see the very specific types of tree are very good for different things, but you see that one's quite nice. I've got a few different sizes. That one's quite a tall one. You will want to prune these. So this one is quite bushy, but this thing here is a little unrealistic, so you could snap that off, and obviously you don't want too much at the bottom, so I tend to take that off because you want a trunk. So if there's any spindly bits towards the base, I tend to snap them off and keep them, of course, because you can just lie them on the layout. I've tried to get a few bigger ones personally as well, but it doesn't really matter because, to be honest, the more variety you've got, the better it's going to look. So I'm just going to choose one now that I'm going to demonstrate. Yeah, I think we'll do this one. So the first thing to do is simplify it. And that's not the best idea, obviously, because you want as much detail as you possibly can. But what I tend to do is, it makes the job easier if you just rip some of these useless bits off. And I'm just going to adjust the camera slightly so you can see a bit better. I apologise for my voice today. I'm not ill, but it's just a blocked nose. So there's nothing wrong with me, but God, it's got thorns on it, the beggar. Well, a few extra bits came off there that I didn't intend to. Now where's my tool? Oh well. Well, since it's covered in thorns, I think we'll snip the rest. Oops. Yes, you'll probably be more better equipped than I am, but we'll get rid of that one. And as you can see, as long as you don't snap too much off, you can get quite a realistic effect. And I'll take off some of the little bits as well. But there you have it, and that's more like a tree. You can really do that as much or as little as you want. It does take longer the more that's on it, but then again you get a little more detail. So then you need some method of clamping it. I tend to use my helping hand and just clutch it in there, but you could use blue tack, as you see I have. This works best. The second thing you could use, or should use, in my opinion anyway, you don't have to of course, is the Woodland Scenic glue. Now this is very good because it adheres to things quite quickly, and it dries clear, which is very important. Although it does take a while to do so, it does dry clear, and I'll let you see some of the effects of this later. And the third thing I use is this Woodland Scenic's clump foliage. This one's medium green, but I suppose it doesn't much matter. Now I've used the last bag, and you can get these for less than £10 normally. If you use eBay, obviously there will be slightly more for postage, but not much because they're not huge. It's a bit of a job to get into, I'm afraid, but there. And what I tend to do is put some into a container, and that's what I'll do. So here's all that's left of the last bag. I'm sorry about that, I had to go and fetch it from downstairs. There's not much left, but I must say it does go a very long way. And I don't actually know if this new bag is the same colour. It might not be. It's not, I don't think, but it doesn't matter. As you can see, this one's a much lighter green. I actually prefer the other green actually, but oh well. Get this open. And it does all come fairly clumped together, but if you mess about with it, you can actually get it. Sorry, I said that wrong. If you move it around quite a bit, you can get it to do some nice things. So as you can see, what I might actually do is I might mix and match. So I've got some bits of the old green here, and I'll put that on the table just so that you can see where it is. I'm sure you won't miss it if it disappears, and we'll get a little bit. Actually, this is probably too much. It's probably more than what we need. And I'll rotate this round actually, and we'll take a little bit more off. And what I tend to do is start towards the bottom end. No particular reason, I suppose, but that's what I generally try and do. Now, let's try and get this camera pointing the right way, because if you miss this, I'll be annoyed with myself. What else was I going to say? Oh yes, let me just put this in. I would also recommend having the odd cotton bud or Q-tip to hand. That's just in case some of the glue drips. You can scoop it up from underneath and reapply it somewhere else. I would like to say that it doesn't happen very often, but you should probably decant some of this into a smaller container, but I tend not to, just because I don't want it to dry up and be wasted. But anyway, here we go. So I just apply a small, well, this is the thing, you don't want to waste it, but you want to apply a fairly reasonable amount. And then what I tend to do, you see here's one of those drips I was on about. So I tend to just collect up the drips and then coat it elsewhere, using a reasonable amount, of course. And then put that Q-tip somewhere where it's not going to cause problems. So then I just take little clumps of it. You can tear it up, so that's a reasonable size little bit. And I'll just stick it to here. So as you can see, I've used two different colours there, and that's the first time I've done that, because obviously when you buy them they're all one colour. Maybe you can get different coloured mixtures and such, but well, I don't know, I've never done it. But I suppose the more different colours you get, I mean, you might not like the fact that it looks different with its different colours and such, but you might enjoy that. It might look better. Now obviously this is a fairly spindly one, but if you get one with more of a canopy on the top, and you could even, I suppose, take the time to glue extra pieces to it and whatever you like, but this one isn't particularly luscious, so this is more of a spindly tree. Just take that glue off. And I think these trees that I make stand better in numbers, because on their own, if they are a bit spindly, they won't look very green. You know what I mean? You don't get that green fill. But if you've got a lot of them standing together, you can get a bit better feel to it. And you'll find that this stuff actually moulds around the branches and stuff quite nicely. Oops. I've just caused a cascade of Q-tips and cotton buds. I won't show you because it's only entertaining to me. But sorry. Okay. And it's a slow and painful job, but if you enjoy modelling, as I do, it's satisfying. I like this. I like this this idea of mixing and matching. I can't do it very much because I've only got a little bit of that other green. Oh dear, it's out of focus. Let me fix that for you. My apologies for that. Oh, that's worse. Not much better. I think it'll do, won't it? Yeah, that's better. Yeah. So if you, I mean, the camera's white balance actually isn't quite set up. It doesn't quite look as harsh as it does on the camera in real life, but you know, for me, it's no one's going to be looking too closely, especially because they're on the carpet. And we'll get on to how you attach them to the well, to whatever surface. I mean, it's more difficult on carpets, of course. It's obviously very easy with a baseboard because you just drill a hole in the base and then add some glue and stick them in. There. So as you can see, I've used quite a lot of glue because the more you use, I mean, when I first made the first few, I was very careful and I was very pleased with myself for not wasting the glue. But actually, I was getting a lot of bits drop off because there wasn't enough glue, and it wasn't strong enough to hold the pieces on while the glue dries. So I use a decent amount of glue, and you could take it a step further by using tweezers to put the pieces on. But I just find that using my hands, I don't know, it's a bit less fiddly. It's not like it's not poisonous glue. It doesn't stick and never get off. Where's the this is it. This is the stuff. If you look at this on Amazon, it's dirt cheap and it's really good glue, but it's an absolute pain if it. I mean, it does spill because you have to. It's one of these. Oh, this is danger now. You have to puncture the top, and you use this spike here to do it. That's what they want you to do. But when you puncture them, it's like there's compressed air in there or something, because it all spurts out, and I have to wear these. I have to wear these latex gloves now, because it just goes everywhere and it sticks your hands together very quickly. I mean, me running downstairs is not quick enough to get the damn glue off. It's a nightmare, but it's good glue. But I would never use anything like that for this, of course, because I would lose a hand. And it doesn't wash off either, that Ashley glue. It's you actually have to take an emery board and file your skin until it comes off, if you're like me and you can't bear having glue on your hands. I think that's pretty good actually. I'm pleased with that. I'll just add a light green tip right there. And it won't look like the right effect until the glue's dried completely. And actually, if the glue didn't dry, you could make some very nice trees for winter scenes, because it I don't know if you saw them, but it made like a trees in winter type effect. And you can just refine it, add little bits. And of course, once the glue's dried, that doesn't signify the end. Of course, you can add more, being careful not to dislodge any of the existing pieces. But I'll just take the camera off the tripod now and show you that. Oh. I'll set the focus to automatic now, hopefully that will do better. As you can see, it's quite a nice effect now. You do want to use these dry branches, you don't want to use the green bits because you don't want them to rot. Now it's up to you if you let them dry. You know, I'll let some, the first few I did mention that I let them dry out for a few weeks. But I honestly can't see the point in doing that, partly because the tree's dead anyway, the one you saw me taking them from. But also, they're gonna dry out with the stuff on them just as easily. I mean, they were drying up here anyway. It's just a graveyard of them right there underneath the silk handkerchief, if only. And so that one's drying, so I tend to leave them there for a time just while they dry out. Here's some others that I made in just one colour. Ow! Sorry, stubbed my toe on something, I don't know what. And these are fully dry, and as you can see there's no trace at all of the glue. Again, these are in the and these are quite spindly ones, but I'll show you on the layout. Well, if you can call it a layout, that's a bit optimistic. Where's a bit more spindly one? I suppose there, a bit more spindly. Sorry, a bit more of a canopy on top. That one is as well. You can get a few different effects. I've also recently finished this unit as well, which I mentioned earlier. Well, not earlier, but before. And these have got some more succulent branches on there. All different shapes and sizes. There's a large one there, and a small one there. To be honest, the more variety, the better, in my opinion. And then it's just a question of how do you fix them to the layout. Well, there's a few different answers. Like I said earlier, if you've got a baseboard or something like this, paper mache, I don't know what's going on with the camera. I'm trying to set it to automatic. So if it's something like paper mache here, what I tend to do is I get a nail and hammer it in, and that makes a little hole, and then what I do is, to make the hole bigger, I just get a screw, and then with a screwdriver just turn that screw into the hole, make a bigger hole, and then stick the tree in and glue it on, and that's all well and good. But if it's on something like this, which it often is, with me anyway. If you're not on the carpet, this does not apply at all. But the question is, how do you get things like this to stay down and look good? Well, the answer is, well, we've already seen the answer. Imagine that. All I do is take a piece of blue tack, which seems silly, but it's actually good because it doesn't have to be permanent. But yeah, take a piece of blue tack, make it big enough to hold the tree in position. If you want to change your mind, you can change your mind. And then what I do is get more of this stuff, glue it all around the base. It looks natural enough. I'm sure none of you will have noticed, well, hopefully none of you will have noticed that there's blue tack holding these down, because you can't see. But if you go behind, I'm not bothered to do behind because no one goes behind there, you can see the blue tack holding them down. But you can cover it up in any way you like, put a building there. This particular one was the first one I did, and that was an experiment. That one's actually held in with tin foil, because I didn't want to waste. I mean, it's cheaper than blue tack, but I think that's a bit dodgy because you need quite a big base because it doesn't stick. But yes, so that's how to make trees my way. Not the best way, of course, but it is a way, and well, you can't say I didn't show you. So that's that. That's taken a very long time, my apologies. I hope you're having a good day and a nice weekend. I suppose it will be the weekend by the time this goes on almost. Keep playing with your trains, they like it, and so do you. And I'll see you all soon. Cheers, guys.